Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Odd. We're your hosts, Mike and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello there.
Right, we're back on the Disney train. Last time was Song of the South. This time it's Fun and Fancy Free from 1947.
Mm.
I've never seen this before. Never seen this one before. How about you?
No, this is a first watch for
No,
me
first
too.
watch for me.
Though I think I've seen the Mickey and the Beanstalk as a separate thing.
Okay.
It was familiar, but I couldn't remember where from. It might have been like on House of Mouse or something, which was a show
Oh,
Disney.
okay. Yeah, they might have shown bits of
Uh,
it too, right?
yeah,
Um, pleasantly surprised how much I enjoyed this. I don't mind these kind of magazine ones, where they're doing several things as we've done in the past, like Saludos Amigos and stuff like that. But I find them kind of unmemorable. I remember the segments, but not the whole thing,
yeah.
as it were. But this is a different beast. This is basically a wraparound story containing two major stories, right?
Mm,
So it's a bit
yeah,
like what we're going to be getting to soon. Ichabod Crane and
yeah.
Toad
Mr.
Toad Hall.
Toad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's a bit like that. But they've got two stories now. The two stories are called uh,
it's Bongo
Bongo
and
and
Mickey and the
Mickey
Beanstalk.
and the Beanstalk.
So,
All right, we won't get to spoilers yet. What was your,
mm,
this is
okay.
47, right? Okay, so
Yeah,
just give just high level. Did you like this one?
I liked half of it.
You liked half of it. I
Yeah,
quite liked it. I quite liked it all. I liked the second half better,
yeah,
though there were
yeah,
bits in that annoyed me.
yeah.
But I did. I thought it was a very pleasant film, and even the first half, which I didn't think was as good as the second, I thought the animation and the sound and the music was tip top. I just didn't
Yeah,
think it was that engaging a story. That's all.
yeah,
So yeah, I enjoyed this. I'd say yeah, go
yeah.
watch it if you got Disney Plus. It's on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
Go
it's on
watch
Disney
it.
Plus. It's a decent 73 minutes.
Yes, and it's very
Yeah,
fun. So all right, so we're getting to spoilers.
yeah.
Yeah, so this one also mixes a little live and animated, not
Mm,
necessarily as intertwined as say Song of the South, though a bit.
no.
Jiminy Cricket is jumping
Yeah,
about.
he's kind of present. He
He's present.
basically there's half where he is interacting with a set. Well, not a set. He's in his own like animated sequence, but he's there's kind of just the other side characters of from Pinocchio, like the fish and the cat are there.
Yeah. No, well, I don't think the cat's the same as
But you know what I
it,
mean. Like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
still like it's that same sort of environment. And then
Yeah. Well,
he,
it is the fish though. That
yeah,
is
it's
definitely
definitely the
Cleo.
fish.
Cleo the
Yeah,
fish, right? It wasn't
yeah.
Figaro the cat though. It was a different
No,
fish.
it's a different. It did try to attack him,
Yeah.
but yeah. So that bit was better than the weird other part where there's just live action ventriloquism.
Yeah, that was
Uh,
it didn't hold up, did it?
no.
Also the ventriloquist was pretty bad as a ventriloquist.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can see his mouth moving basically.
yeah,
Maybe that's how ventriloquists used to do it back then. I do not know.
yeah.
But yeah, and it wasn't
But
that
it's
funny.
like,
Um,
yeah, it just wasn't funny at all.
yeah. Essentially, though, it's weird because we get the intro music, which is really pleasant,
Yeah.
really colourful, vivid colours,
Mm,
opening titles, right? I mean, and it says
yeah.
Technicolor. Also, we get quite prominently featuring Dinah Shore, who was a singer from the 40s,
Mm.
and Ed Bergen, who I didn't know his name, but he was this
Yeah, that's the ventriloquist,
right?
apparently.
And they are named and talked about during the film,
Yeah.
so it's not like they're like actors.
Yeah, the whole first section is sung by Dinah Shore,
Yeah, a
and Jiminy
person singing,
literally
yeah.
rolls out a vinyl and puts it on a record
Puts it
player.
on.
It's
Oh
like, yeah,
look,
let's just
Dinah
play it.
Shore. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah,
Before we get into that though, Jiminy Cricket singing a song about I can't remember what the
he's
song's
a
title was.
go
Happy Go
lucky
Lucky
fellow.
Fellow, right? Yeah, Happy
Yeah,
Go Lucky Fellow. And he comes across. You see him in like
it
a
skips about a
child's
bit because he's like a
toys.
yeah. So he starts it. He's kind of sailing along in a fairly picturesque sort of garden.
Yeah,
And there's like all sorts of stuff around, and then he just immediately it sort of hard cuts to him in this little like house. Everything's
yeah.
animated here, and he's like talking with the dolls. She kind of
Yeah,
does at the start of Pinocchio as well,
yeah,
but yeah,
indeed. There's a doll in Nessie Tootstool that looks like one of the ones from Pinocchio.
yeah,
It's very Pinocchio-y, as you mentioned. That we see what looks exactly like Cleo the goldfish from
yeah,
Pinocchio, and we also see a cat, but it's not. I think Figaro, isn't it? Figaro's the
mm,
cat. Um, but then he finds this record sung by Dinah Shore that's about a
yeah,
story called Bongo, and it starts with it sort of suggesting this is about three bears, and it's like
yeah,
not the ones you're thinking of.
yeah,
It's three bears. Yeah, so eye level view is about a circus bear who finds someone that he can fall in love with, and then there's tension.
yeah,
Right, there's tension. It does
yeah,
start with Bongo as working in the circus, somewhat reminiscent of Dumbo, wasn't it?
yeah.
Certainly, where he
This is
jumped off the
it's
high thing and things like that.
Yeah. This whole first part is basically Dumbo in short. He's
It
he's
was.
getting performed and he's also being mistreated. Like he's just kind of manhandled for everything, and then thrown into the train cart for so they're on the way to the next show. But he escapes because he feels the call of the wild. They
It's also
say,
called a while. He keeps, and I quite like the quick animation. They basically had a thing where a train would pull up and a circus would kind of pour out
mm,
the train, almost like a liquid. And then when it was done, it would pour back into, it'd be sucked back into
yeah,
the train and
just
be off.
slurp back
And
in.
he had a room. Basically, he had an
He
open
had a
view. Well,
caged
it was
room.
caged. It was
Yeah,
caged, but he could look out onto the sort of mountains and like pine to be free, basically.
mm,
And in the end, he loses his cool and he starts shaking one of the doors, and the lock just falls off. And the
yeah. So
train's moving pretty fast, but he just jumps out on a motorcycle and it's fine and cycles
mm,
off into the country, right? Uh,
yeah. Now I didn't like this whole sequence. I'm going to be
yeah, so
frank.
it's sung
This
by
was,
Dinosaur singing over this as well,
yeah,
right? As well as kind of narrating. And she's also the voice of the female bear because basically he
yeah,
meets a cute female bear who's
yeah,
a match for him called Lulabelle. And it's kind of all very cute and
yeah. It's very much
lovesy.
just a meet cute. They kind of
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
stare into each other's eyes as the other bears kind of swan around them.
Yeah, in many respects, it made me think of like what you get in Popeye cartoons of, Popeye
Yeah,
and Olive, and then Bluto turns up and
yeah.
all
That
that.
kind of is the dynamic here,
Yeah, is
really, because there's a third bear called Lumpjaw
yeah,
that
who
shows up and wants to, I
yeah.
guess, show love to
Now they
Lunabelle.
set up a premise that when bears are kind of courting, they slap each other. That's what they
Yeah,
set up. The boy slaps the girl slaps the boy, and that's kind of a
yeah,
sign of affection. However, this Lumpjaw kind of is a horrible bear,
yeah.
all right? And Lunabelle slaps him. And he
Well,
takes
no,
this.
she's trying to slap Bongo, and she
Yes, that's
misses and
right.
slaps Lumpjaw instead. It's like,
Yeah,
oh no, and yeah,
yeah. Oh, at this point, Bongo doesn't quite understand the slapping thing, does he?
no. But
No.
there's a really weird song called "Say It with a Slap"
Yeah.
that
They
plays,
slap
where
each
it's
other.
like it's just like, oh yeah, if you love each other, say it with a slap, and it's like,
Uh,
ooh, this is
uh,
really
yeah, I have to
weird.
say at that point I thought,
Mm,
are we back here again? Are we
yeah,
are we back here?
we in some very
Um,
bad
yeah.
territory.
I should have mentioned, and I can't remember where it comes into this. There's also a song about um oh no, sorry, no, it's in the next session. My mistake. Because I was thinking about there's a bit with crows, but that's in the next one, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, my mistake.
So,
So basically, Bongo then witnesses the slapping and the song you
yeah.
just mentioned.
And he
Um,
realizes what's happened.
so he has to go back and try and rescue. And I mean, I have to say, this Lunch or Lulabelle thing is properly.
Grim. Like,
Oh, this looks a bit.
yeah. Like
I
he's
know
got her
it's a
sat in his
cartoon.
lap, and she's
Yeah,
also about a third of the size of
that's
him.
of him. And the
So,
other bears are kind of witnessing it and not doing
yeah.
anything. So it's like, oh, this looks bad. Um, basically, they, well, basically, Lovejoy's eating him about, and
Yeah.
they end up on a log on a river,
Yeah.
kind of doing a Robin Hood-esque, I guess.
Yeah, they're doing like because Bongo's trained in circus stuff. He's like running backwards, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
tripping Lumpjaw
I
up.
should have mentioned they
Yeah,
do actually play up his circus skills like being able to ride the motorcycles, this, that, and the other sort of
Yeah,
help. We didn't really talk about that too much, but there's lots of
no,
cute stuff he does at the circus. But when he's performing, he seems to be happy. But whenever he's not performing, he's obviously
yeah,
quite sad, right? The performances are the only thing that keeps him happy. But in the end, it drives him nuts and he escapes. Yeah. Anyway, so
yeah,
yeah, there is that dynamic. But then the log goes over a waterfall. All the other bears who are lazing about just witness this.
yeah,
But Bongo manages to get out, doesn't he, through
yeah.
circus
He's
skills?
yeah, he swims away. Like
So
Lovejaw doesn't resurface, but
yeah, he's drowned or something, I don't
yeah,
know. So they and then Bongo and Lulabelle are happy, happy enough.
yeah.
And
They
there's
off go
quite a
off in the
cute animation I quite like. They both climb up the branches of a tree next to each other and then kiss. And when it pans out, the trees kind of each tree is bent into a shape, so it looks like a giant heart. That's kind
yeah.
of
That
cute.
was quite sweet. Unfortunately, this was like half an hour long. What
Yeah,
we've
yeah.
just summarized there very briefly.
Yeah, what I
It
get,
it drags at the
yeah,
start.
I have to say I was okay with it. In that I was just watching the animation. I quite like it. It was simple, but it was
Yeah,
effective. It wasn't. It was very similar to the sort of style of animation we get to see in the 50s films.
yeah,
Like Alice and Peter Pan and that. It
yeah.
looked like more like that than say Snow.
Some of the earlier stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, Snow White and stuff like that.
yeah,
But yeah, it was more
yeah,
of an evolution of what we saw in Dumbo. I think is
yeah,
to describe it. I think Dinosaur singing was also very good, and I like the matching with the music to what was on screen. There was not quite, but close to a Fantasia vibe. I think somewhat, but they did that in the earlier ones we've seen, haven't they? They've had some ones quite like that in some of the other ones we've seen, but not half an hour long. There's the difference, right? Uh,
yeah.
so yeah, and then
I
it
will say,
ends.
I'm going to be frank. As good as the parts were, I very much enjoyed the shorter parts from the prior like compilation films.
Okay,
Like
fair enough. Fair enough.
I preferred that format as opposed to this two
Yeah,
half-hour ones.
yeah. Well, I quite like Mickey and the Beanstalk. I thought that
Yeah,
was
like I say, I did enjoy Mickey and the
yeah,
Beanstalk.
yeah. So then, the record ends,
Yeah,
and
it literally comes to a
Jiminy
scratching
Cricket
stop.
turns off the record player, and then he
Yeah,
finds an invite, doesn't he, to a party.
yeah,
That's where we get into the live action proper.
stuff.
It is
And
full
it's
live action.
some really weird. I don't
Un
know how to phrase it.
Unfunny.
It's unfunny sketch bits.
With two, three different. Well, basically,
So there's
this
two
man Ed
full
Bergen,
ventriloquist puppets, and there's also
a
him
hand
using
thing
like a hand little. He's like drawn a face on his hand,
with
and it's
ink, or
just
yeah,
like miming with that. It's like this isn't entertaining.
with a little
Like
girl
that's
whose birthday it's
yeah,
been, right? Because
yeah. So
the man's
that's
wearing a party hat, right, as well.
yeah,
He's middle aged, right? And he's interacting with the two ventriloquist dummies, and they're talking back like they're real things. So it's a bit
yeah.
odd. It's a bit
So
odd.
apparently that was his act.
Act, yeah,
Like
yeah,
that would him and those two dummies was the act.
yeah. And there was a
I
one
will
with a
say there is a nightmarish picture of him and one of the dummies on the Wikipedia page. Good lord, that's unpleasant.
I haven't seen that.
So,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, that's
And I can't remember one's called
he was
Mortimer.
yeah,
One
one's
is like
Mortimer and one's Charlie.
yeah. So Charlie's the cheeky one,
Yeah,
right?
Charlie's like he's a top hat monocle wearing sort of guy, and Mortimer is kind of like just a hick
Like a village
stereotype.
idiot kind of
Yeah,
thing, right? Yeah. And he says
yeah,
goofy things,
yeah,
while the other one says kind of rude things,
yeah.
and
It's not funny, so
it
just
work.
skip over it.
Yeah,
Like,
it does work better when we don't actually see Ed Bergen because he's just talking
yeah.
with the voices, right? He's not
And then
trying to
otherwise,
not move his lips.
like a horrid looking puppet.
And the
Like,
little, I mean, the little girl's all right.
yeah. Well, that's Luana Patton is the same little girl that was in Song of the South.
Oh, what's that? I didn't
Yeah,
recognise her.
that's she played Ginny in that.
Yeah, I
So
think she had more to do in Song of the South, but she was
yeah.
better, actually.
Otherwise, just like this, it's just her sat in a room with a 40-year-old man and two puppets doing bits.
Oh
It's
my God,
not
I've just seen the
interesting.
Wikipedia link. Yeah,
Yeah.
that looks
Uh,
like something from a horror film.
yeah.
Okay. Uh, so Luana, then he mentions, well, maybe I could tell a story. And
Yeah.
Charlie's saying things like, mate, he's making jokes, basically saying it would be even better if you didn't, things like that.
Yeah.
Mortimer's fully invested though. But yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So here's how we bridge into Mickey and the
Yeah, and the
Beanstalk,
Beanstalk.
which is Jack and the Beanstalk. Except there's a whole prequel section where it's like, oh yeah, and the Kingdom of the Happy Valley is all sustained
Yeah,
by a magic harp. Except the
yeah.
harp disappeared one day, and then everything went to hell. Really.
Yeah, and I have to say the cut. Basically, you see this Happy Valley, right? You see crows. It's almost a reprise of the crows from Dumbo. These crows singing
Yeah.
and everyone's happy. Even the scarecrow seems to be happy.
Yeah.
Singing harps, singing quite pretty, song,
Yeah.
bringing it, making the valley looks really nice. And I have to
Yeah.
say
It's a
the
song called My
cast.
What a Happy Day for
Yeah.
you
So
want to hear it.
yeah. Oh yeah. Cool.
Mm.
I have to say the castle looks like your total Disney castle,
Yeah.
like at Disneyland, right? I think this is the first time we see that kind of castle in all of Disney.
Yeah, I
'Cause
think
it
so.
comes in
Well, no,
Cinderella too,
yeah,
right?
no, Snow White. Yeah, it
There
was
was
in
a
that.
castle like this, was
Yeah,
there?
at the very
Oh,
end, it
okay.
does like
No.
they kind of walk up to a hill and it fades into showing
Okay, I'd
the
forgotten
castle.
that. But that's essentially this. And I honestly thought it was going to be the giant lived in the castle or something.
Mm,
Because there's a massive castle with no one in it apart from a singing harp. But there
yeah,
you go. Anyway, basically, there's a stormy night and we see this big shadowy thing approach the castle and like a big shadowy hand come in and grab the harp, right? And
yeah,
then the entire place dries up, all the crops turn to dust, there's no food, nothing. Uh, it's
yeah.
it's a proper desolation.
It's bad.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And then he starts going on, but there were three farmers, and it turns out they're Mickey, Donald, and Goofy,
yeah,
right?
which I
And he's
think is Goofy's first. No, sorry, he was in the
no, he's in cut.
yeah, Caballeros. So
Yeah. Yeah. So Goofy, I had to laugh because they're trying to make the food. And it's a bit like there's a famous scene in a Charlie Chaplin film, The Gold Rush, where,
mm,
but they're basically starving, but in freezing conditions and like
yeah,
starting to go a bit insane. And they kind of reprise this. I did
yeah,
laugh about the fact that Mickey had to slice the bread and he
yeah.
sliced it so thin you could
You can
actually see
see
through
through
it.
it. Yeah.
And they had one bean, which he then had to
Yeah,
cut
he
up.
had to slice up finally. They put the bean in between the two see-through slices of bread, and it looks like it's going to go in a microscope. It's real
Now,
quite
this was all
funny.
fun. The only stuff I didn't like is you kept hearing the narrator and the goofy ventriloquist
Yeah,
that was talking over it. That was a bit annoying. Uh,
yeah,
so, it's better without that. And I
yeah. It's
wonder
better
if
once
there's.
they start talking, which is, I'm going to be frank, a first for Mickey in these films.
Yeah,
Like while he was in Fantasia, he didn't talk in that.
yeah.
So
And Walt
yeah.
Disney was doing the Mickey voice.
Yeah, this is Walt Disney as
Wow.
Mickey. He
Um,
was he stayed for the Mickey as the longest time as he could, I think.
Yeah,
So
I do like the fact that I did laugh at one bit of the narration. I can't remember the actual words, but basically it was focusing on Donald, who was looking in horror at his
yeah,
transparent sandwich with a third of a bean in it, right? Because
yeah,
they cut one bean no, between three of them. Um,
yeah.
and the narrator was saying, Donald, basically the middle farmer kept his composure, and Donald immediately
Donald,
cracked
yeah,
and went mental.
correct. He started eating all the crockery. It was
He made
great.
a sandwich with the crockery and cutlery, and
Yeah,
Goofy and Mickey had to stop him. Then he noticed the axe on the wall, and he was
yeah.
looking around at his. And he
He
said,
he looks at the other two, and there's quite a funny bit here where like it pans across to Mickey, and he's shaking a single grain of salt onto his bean.
and
So
I thought it was going to be the standard. He turns into a chicken.
yeah,
You often get, which happened in the Gold Rush, but you often see it in cartoons. But no, it wasn't that. He does get the axe off the wall, but it's made the point they got one cow, and
yeah,
because this cow hasn't got any food,
It can't produce
can't
milk, and
really
yeah.
milk it anymore. But what it turns out to is Donald,
So Donald wants to go kill the
he's
cow.
heading towards the
He wants
cow.
a steak.
And then we get a bit of shtick from the ventriloquist dummies about, oh, steaks are
Hmm.
great and all this. But yeah. But Goofy and Mickey realizes what happened in the
Yeah,
rest.
they have to
Meanwhile,
wrestle
Donald's
him to.
biting the cow on the tail and all sorts. Um,
Yeah,
but what they decide on is they're gonna sell it at
yeah, they
market.
got to sell the cow, get some food and seeds, and bring the farm back to life, essentially.
Yeah,
And
so Mickey goes off, and
Mickey
meanwhile,
goes off.
Donald and
Donald and Goofy are
Goofy
celebrating.
are
Oh,
celebrating and singing about food and
yeah,
pretending food's on the plate and lifting
yeah.
up
They
dishes.
literally the song is called "Eat Until I Die," and it's
Yeah,
to that da 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 sort of song.
that's right. Um, then Mickey comes back, and they're kind of really happy because they're looking forward to some grub. And Mickey
Yeah,
says, "I've traded the cow. I didn't sell it. I
yeah.
traded it for budget beans." Donald
Donald goes
does his
absolutely
nut. He
apoplectic
does his none. Basically, he throws them and they fall through the hole
through a
in the
hole in the
floor.
floor.
Right?
Yeah,
Um, so they all get to bed hungry, but in the night the beanstalk grows,
yeah.
of
Of course, it
course.
grows. This variation of it, I suppose, it takes the house up with them, so they wake up in the clouds. So
Yeah,
there's no that whole climbing business.
no, they
So
they have to climb up a bit more, and they find this big castle
yeah,
thing.
they've had a castle in the
Um,
clouds.
Now I'm trying to remember. Do they hear the harp singing, or they don't? Do they? They just
They
go.
go to the house. They go into the castle, and well, everything's giant. But then they spot food, so they start eating, and
I
that's where
did
they
have to laugh
hear.
how the table leg just happened to be carved with a spiral around the outside. So they
Yeah,
ran up it like it was a spiral staircase, right?
yeah, that was kind
Uh,
of funny.
um,
But yeah, they hear the harp in a box, and then that's when they find out. It's like, oh, this is where that's gone, and that's where they start to hear fee, fi, fo,
yeah, and
fum.
then we get an interlude back with the live action where Ed Bergen is explaining. He said, "I'll try and represent," and he starts doing shadow puppets with the giant's
Yeah,
head, and it went on a bit
yeah, it went
again.
on a bit, but the only good bit happens when they transition it to animation.
Yeah,
And it's just they do different. They show off that the giant has basically different powers. Like he can fly, he can turn invisible, he can change his shape.
yeah. It
Yeah,
can go, it can shrink, it can grow. I did like the fact that the first thing we see of the giant is the transition from the shadow puppet in the live action to the shadow of the giant, who looks
yeah,
quite menacing. And then when he comes out of the shadow, and he's a
yeah.
big
He's
goof,
just yeah, he's
right?
just kind of goofing about.
And he's called Willie the
Yeah,
giant.
Willie the Giant,
Um,
and he sings a song about fee fi fo fum sort of
Yeah,
things.
which is
So
his magic words, which allows him to do things like fly, and he demonstrates, doesn't he? You see him fly,
yeah,
you see him shrink down. He says, "I can become the size of an elf," and all this, that, and the other.
mm.
And then um, Mickey, then he finds Mickey, doesn't he? I can't
Yeah.
remember
So
that.
they're trying to hide from him. Mickey hides
Yeah,
in a sandwich for some reason.
yes,
And
not a good idea.
when the giant puts pepper on it, Mickey sneezes.
Yeah,
And
but
so
the
he,
giant's not immediately aggressive. Mickey just runs out and starts pretending he can read his fortune.
yeah,
Anthony and Giant's like, oh, what can you see? What can you see? He goes, oh,
yeah,
this one here says you've got magic powers or something like that, isn't he?
yeah. He basically gets him to explain his abilities, and then he's like, "Oh man, you could even turn into a fly." It's
Yeah.
like, "Ah, I
Eh,
could turn into a rabbit." It's like,
yeah.
"Oh, if you can't turn into a
The
fly."
fly. He goes,
It's
I could
like,
turn into. It's the old. This was the trick with the genie.
yeah,
I bet you can't fit in this bottle. Is it Aladdin that does that? I
yeah,
can't remember. Or it's in one of those
yeah. That sort of a
Arabian
story.
Nights kind of films, right? Where they
Yeah,
trick the genie by saying, "I bet you can't get into this bottle." It's that.
yeah,
Trick. But basically, they're saying, "I bet you can't turn into a fly." I'll turn into a fly,
yeah.
and he goes
while
off.
he's while he's gloating about it, he turns into a rabbit. It's like, yeah, see, I can do this as well. And he turns, and they've prepped a big fly swatter.
Yeah, basically, Mickey went and found Donald and Goofy, and they got a fly swatter, and they were going to squash him. And he
Yeah,
goes, "Hey, I know what you're." He's. I have to say, the bunny looked amazing, big pink bunny, right?
yeah,
um,
very,
yeah,
very fun.
this was really fun. This was all really
Yeah,
fun.
It was a very pleasant sort of cartoon.
Yeah.
It's just good to watch.
And it's funny, I am been watching some late 50s Disney, and they
Mm.
started doing, or maybe it was early 50s, they started doing during that period, which is all right, 10 years after this, they started doing much longer cartoons where they were trying to tell a story like Donald Duck in Mathland, right? Or
Yeah. Okay.
the story of Noah's Ark. In fact, the
Yeah.
Noah's Ark one was bizarre. I watched it because it
Yeah.
wasn't animated, it was clay, like a clay, like oh, what did I call it? A bit like
Stop motion?
yes, yeah, claymation almost, right?
Okay.
Which is weird
Weird.
with Disney, but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But they were like more like 20 minutes rather than your 7 minute cartoons, right?
Yeah. That's
So it was almost
good
like
change.
this in length, you know. It's kind of
Yeah.
interesting. It's interesting, isn't it? Anyway,
Yeah.
back to this.
We got distracted.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
yeah, the giant catches them and thinks he locks them all in a box, but gets the harp out as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Old
Mickey darts
Mickey,
out.
Mickey manages to jump on the side and hide behind it, and almost gets squashed when the giant puts it on the shelf.
Mm.
But he's at least on the outside, right?
Mm.
And then the giant
The
sits
giant
there,
makes the harp sing for him.
yeah, and
Uh,
puts the key that he's locked the box, locked all the guys in, the key in his top. It looks like he's going to swallow it at one point,
yeah,
and
and
then
then
he
he
puts it in
just
his
puts it
top
in his
pocket.
pocket. Yeah,
Um, and the harp who's sitting looking at the giant can also see the guys, and she
Mm.
kind of gestures to make it come forward, and she starts singing a lullaby to the giant, and he's like all happy because it's quite pleasant, and starts to drop off. And it made me laugh. She starts singing about what she wants Mickey to do. She says, "His
yeah,
key is in his top pocket, his vest
yeah,
pocket," and things like that.
yeah. It's
So
very silly.
Mickey finds a needle and cotton reel on the
Yeah,
shelf, and he uses it to basically create a little rope to climb down. Um, what's he doing? Embeds
yeah,
it's quite clever. Gets
yeah.
the
He
knee,
gets the key
throws the
and
reel,
unlocks the
that's it.
box,
Yeah,
and they start to creep away with the with the harp.
well,
Uh,
before that, he falls into the pocket of the vest, doesn't he?
yeah.
And unfortunately, there's a box of snuff there. And as he's sort of climbing out, the snuff box opens, then he falls in it and he sneezes himself, which creates a dust of snuff, which then makes the giant sneeze. And the giant's a
Yeah,
bit confused about what's going on. And he said, "Oh, it must have been a bad dream."
yeah.
Meanwhile, Mickey's climbing up. Um, and they also get that. Does he get the harp at that point? I
Yeah,
can't.
they
They get
unlock
the
the
harp.
box, they get the harp, and as they're making their way out, there's like, man, good thing we didn't wake up the giant. And they look up at the giant, and he's looking down at them.
Yeah, that was
So,
funny. That was funny.
yeah,
Because usually you expect a loud noise and then a giant, but it
yeah,
was funny. They looked around and he's just looking at them angrily.
yeah.
That did make me
So we
laugh.
get a chase out the castle. It's put to some piece of classical music, but I don't couldn't recognize it.
No, it was quite cool though. It was quite
Yeah,
cool.
it's a good piece of music, and the giant's chasing them with a big mace, and they're able to chop down the beanstalk with some comedy shenanigans of Donald getting pulled into the saw as they cut
Yes.
it and
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
squished.
That was
Yeah,
kind of fun. Those were always kind of fun. And then basically, it cuts back to the live action. He says, "Oh yeah, the giant passed," or something like that.
yeah. It's
And
like yeah, and the giant fell,
And I
and
thought
they just kind
that's
of
a
roll
bit
with it. It's like
grim. That's a bit grim to have a death in
yeah,
it like that. And actually, Mortimer's the ventriloquist I was quite upset because Willie was all right. He's just misunderstood. Oh, he shouldn't have died. And the man said, "No, no, just let me tell you what happened." And again,
yeah.
prolonged, and essentially, oh
It's
no, he didn't pass because it's all. And then he starts using long
yeah,
words to
yeah. It confuses
yeah, because
confuses Mortimer.
basically it's a figment of your imagination. It's a story that the giant never existed. And then
Yeah.
suddenly the roof gets pulled open and there's Willie.
There's Willie looking for Mickey.
Have
It's
you
like, you
seen a
guys seen a
harp?
mouse?
Or yeah,
So,
whatever it is. And like Ed Bergen passes out, but Mortimer's very happy that the giant
yeah.
still exists. And then we see the giant stomp off towards Hollywood and
Yeah.
just start lifting up buildings. And he lifts up an entire restaurant called the Derby, the Brown Derby,
Yeah.
which is in the shape of a derby hat.
Yeah.
Puts it on his head and walks off. Okay, towards Hollywood. Okay.
Yeah. So it
So
feels like it could have ended about 10 minutes earlier.
yeah, and we also get Jiminy Cricket leave the house and
Yeah.
standing permanently in the foreground and watch the giant.
Yeah.
It's good animation, but
Yeah. It
it's
looks pretty,
yeah,
but like, yeah, there's nothing to it. So,
yeah. So quite charming. Certainly, the
yeah.
second half was worth a look, and
Yeah.
Bongo was it looked alright,
Yeah.
but it
Like I
wasn't that
say, it was
involved.
all
A
pretty
bit long.
animation. It's just
Yeah, and
not
that
that
was longer.
interesting.
That was longer than the Mickey and the Jay Beanstalk. It should have been the other way around. The length
Yeah.
should have been the other way around, I think.
Yeah. I think
Um,
this really could have done without the bridging element, really. That's all. Like it
yeah,
should I don't think Jiminy should have been it. I think it should have just rolled into like, and here's the story of Bongo, if
which
they
I
were gonna
think
do it.
maybe they, if I remember rightly,
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah, these
Ichabod
probably got
Crane and Winds of the
packaged.
Willows didn't have a framing story, did it? It was just two
No,
seconds.
it was just like it panned into a library and there was I think it was who
Yeah,
was it? It was some horror English actor.
Vincent
For
Price.
yeah, I think it was Vincent Price.
All right.
Like narrating for Ichabod and then someone
Yeah.
else narrating for uh no, sorry, Vincent Price narrating for Mr. Toad and someone else narrating for Ichabod. So,
Yeah, yeah. Well,
yeah.
we'll be in about three
Yeah,
or four
we'll
films,
see.
won't we?
Yeah.
It's imminent. Um, yeah, I thought it was all pleasant. I quite liked the music.
Yeah.
It was very colourful, and look to know, I felt it was slightly different animation style to they used in the other sort of catalogue type of film, but maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah. I
But
feel like those other ones had way better live action integration. Like just
yes,
with just off the top of my head, all the silhouettes dancing in Three Caballeros.
yeah.
So
Yeah, that was way better. There's
yeah,
very little when you look at it. I mean, Willie lived in the roof off it was still separate elements, wasn't it?
yeah,
Jiminy Cricket was imposed, but it was only Jiminy Cricket. That was about it.
yeah.
Right? Um, so I
Uh,
quite apparently that song by Jiminy Cricket, "Happy Go Lucky Fellow," was actually written for Pinocchio, but cut from the release. So it was in the film, but they cut it.
okay.
So they were
Well,
just
that's fine.
reusing that. But it was a good song. It was a good song.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Like I said, it's all pleasant. It's kind of like when you've seen some of the other Disney musical stuff, kind of fades into the background.
yeah, what elevates this is the Donald, Goofy,
Yeah,
and Mickey
it's
doing their
Mickey.
thing.
It's like it's a film with Mickey in it. So
Yeah,
you end up getting some of the actual like character of the I guess call them the Disney trio, like shining through. Even if it's
yeah,
like a overall, it's not it's as a film, it's not as good as the like other Disney films we've seen, but those three elevate it. So
yeah. Apparently, Walt Disney was always concerned that Mickey wasn't a favorite, fell out of favor, and then
hmm.
there were other characters who were way preferred. Donald,
Yeah, I
but
think Donald was like the most popular in Europe or something like that.
well, to be honest, I have been watching a lot of Disney from this era, and the Donald Duck cartoons are way more entertaining than the other ones. Donald Duck's just funny, right? It's just funny,
Hmm.
and they all start with the same little song. That's kind of funny, going, "Who's the happy-go-lucky fella who
Yeah,
never gets angry?" and Donald's like, "That's me" in his voice.
yeah,
Like that. But it's funny. So I always like Donald Duck.
yeah.
He's one of my
Like it's
favorites.
a good trio dynamic.
Yes, it
So,
is. Is
yeah,
there's that awesome one where they're in a caravan, isn't it, eating sweet corn. That's
yeah,
and they're doing like a typing music, diddle
yeah,
or whatever it is. While
yeah,
they're chewing it. That's a classic too.
yeah. A big
Yeah.
recommend on the more recent Mickey Mouse
Oh
cartoons
yeah, they're
as
really
well.
good. They are
Yeah,
really good. They're on Disney Plus, aren't they?
yeah,
There's two seasons, isn't there? Or there was
yeah,
last time I looked. And I think we've watched both, right? Have we?
yeah. We watch both because
Yeah.
it's like 5 minute episodes.
Yeah, but they're
So,
really fun. They're
but
really
yeah,
fun.
we've got a
Um,
bit off track here.
yeah, we have got
So,
that. But yeah, it was a pleasant enough film. I did like it more than as a film, more than the other ones we've seen. But there's individual sections in
really,
some of the other films that are quite memorable.
hmm,
Really, it's only Mickey and the Beanstalk that's good in this one,
yeah.
and you
I
have
think
to put up with the narration that takes you
this,
out
yeah,
of
the
it. That's all.
stupid like it's really bad.
It only
Uh,
works, I'd say, 10% of the time.
Yeah,
in terms of enhancing the film. Most of the time,
yeah,
it detracts, which is a shame. But
yeah. I
uh,
will say, I think this of the compilation films, I think this is the worst of them so
really,
far.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
I don't think I agree with that, but
yeah,
yeah, we could differ, right?
yeah.
That's okay. There's some really. Didn't we also see? I just remembered. Didn't we also see one of the that mad bird, or it's some a bird that looks like that mad bird that was in the Free
Oh, yeah, I
Cavalera
know the one you mean, but I
trailer?
didn't see it.
Really briefly.
Okay, it
It was
might
in
have shown up.
Bongo. It was in Bongo. It flew when he first got out of the
Yeah, it's
plane.
like the Tookie Tookie bird or something like that.
Yeah, but it looked like it, but it was way smaller. That's all.
Yeah,
So I don't think it was the same. It just they used a similar design, maybe.
yeah,
But yeah. So yeah, it was all right.
yeah. It
But
was
you
a
know,
yeah,
you
yeah. Like I said, of the three other compilation movies, I like this one the least. Like
yeah.
the others they're a lot more fun. The bridging elements in Saludos Amigos and Three Caballeros is much better.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
Make My Music, just the brevity of all the sequences feeds into it well. This one,
Yeah, a lot of the what you can say about the other ones is if it's not a thing you're enjoying, it's only going to be 5 minutes till the next one, right? And
yeah.
usually the next one's pretty good, so it's fine, you know. All
Hmm.
right, let's get to rating. How would you rate this?
Okay. I'd rate this about a 5 or a 6,
Oh,
maybe.
six. I'll give it a 7 out of
Yeah.
10 for me. Like I say, I liked it quite a lot, mainly because of Donald, Mickey, and Goofy, though. You know,
Yeah.
the giant stuff was good though. I like the giant as well.
Yeah.
The only thing is you had to kind of live through the
Live
um
through the live action
slightly
skits.
annoying narration stuff. Yeah, and the skits were
Yeah.
bad, just bad. Yeah, no, just didn't work. So yeah, okay. So that winds up.
Mm.
This is probably our last Disney of this year,
Yeah.
but we'll
Hope
probably
so.
do something else before the year's out.
Yeah.
But no more Disney till next year. So we're still in the 40s. We should
Mm.
be hitting the 50s soon. We got a few more to
Yeah, I
get
think
through,
it's 2 or 3 more.
2 or 3 more.
Yeah.
So we'll probably
But
be
next we
here.
got Melody Time, I think.
Yeah, we got another one of these. We got a one we can do. We've discussed maybe optionally. We're not sure yet. And then we
Mm.
get to Wikipod. Then we get into the full
Yeah,
features.
then we hit Golden Era Disney.
Yeah, and it is full features
We
for
hit
virtually
yeah,
everything at that point until
yeah,
we're late 70s, I think. And even those are um fairly, it's like Winnie the Pooh, but several
yeah,
different stories with Winnie, that kind
yeah,
of thing. So they're much more coherent as
yeah.
pieces.
And then after that, I don't think I think Winnie the Pooh is the only at once we hit Cinderella, I think Winnie the Pooh is the only compilation movie after that.
I think you're
Unless we
right.
want to count the weird pseudo sequels that they made in the early 2000s, which are like
I'm not
three
sure we're
episodes
going
just
to
kind
do
of
that.
jammed. But like I say, I
Yeah.
don't think we're going to be
Nah,
doing
we
it.
want to
So
do features.
yeah.
Um, okay, let's wind it up there. So,
Hmm.
bye from me.
Bye.